Hey everyone, so what's been killing a lot of people, especially during this tough time, is the fact that their liabilities outweigh their assets. And I am here to address that. So the first concern has always been saving, 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 and not saving enough. A lot of people are comfortable with $1,000 in their emergency fund. Dave Ramsey always addresses that having $1,000 in your emergency fund while paying off debt is a great way to get started. It helps with the little fixes and the little issues. However, that was over 2 decades ago when he initiated that principle. And that was because a lot of people were falling out of the plan due to every little hiccup here and there and not saving enough. The thing is that people get too comfortable once they have hit their emergency fund that they start to splurge, splurge, and splurge. For me, it was never $1,000. For me, it was $10,000. And it took me a long time to get over the fact that $10,000 is not enough to have in my savings account. And so for most people, what I've seen is $1,000 being their cushion. However, their bills and their expenses far outweigh what their emergency fund is. A true emergency fund should be 3 to 6 months of expenses. And I lean towards at least 6 months of expenses. What that means is that if you make $2,000 a month in income, and maybe your expenses are $1,000 a month, you need to have $6,000 in savings for that to be considered a good emergency fund. Just because you have $6,000 in your emergency fund does not mean you can just spend willy-nilly. That just means that you can be less aggressive on your savings, and maybe now you're just saving 200 or 300 a month rather than 5, 6, 7, 800 to get to that 6,000. That way, you're still getting more and more savings every single month. So you go from 6,000 to 6,200 to 6,400 to 6,600 to 6,800, and that continues. And then when a hiccup occurs, you might still have your 6 months emergency fund and not have to dip into it for every little thing. That's what I kind of build off of and work from. So calculate your expenses, understand how many expenses you have, and then times that by 6 months. That is what your emergency fund should be. If you're less than that, you need to aggressively be pushing to get there. And then from there, you can slowly but surely build on top of that and then start saving towards other investments and start investing into other things. Now, the biggest liability that most people will have is their home. And you might be looking at me and saying, Festus, how can my home be a liability? Rent is more expensive in California or New York or even Columbus, Ohio in recent time. Interest rates are no longer 3%, right? So how can it be my home when I would be spending $200 or $300 more on rent? Well, that's a great question because a liability is anything that does not make you money. You might be saving money, but it's not making you money. And what do I mean by that? See, a home comes with a variety of expenses that you might not have accounted for. You have to fix things. AC might go out, heater might go out, roof might leak. There are so many possibilities. You might have an infection, termites, all types of stuff, right? And so to address all of those things take time. Also, your expenses go up. That you have nicer furniture, you have nicer appliances because you're not renting, you're living there. And so the cost of living might rise with the type of home that you decide to get into. Now, with that being said, understand that a liability isn't always a bad thing when it is a home because you can be gaining equity in order to build wealth for the future. But an asset is something that makes you money. So for example, that same home, if you rent it out, it is now an asset. It puts money in your pocket rather than taking money out of your pocket. And so the problem is that people have less assets and more liabilities. What do I mean by that? A car is a liability, whether you purchase it outright or you purchase it on a lease or a financing option. The thing is, you're going to have to continue to pay into it, whether that be maintenance, gas, repairs, or financing. And so a lot of people are financing vehicles today, and they're paying $300 to $600 more than we did just 2 years ago per month, right? The average car payment is now $850 a month to $1,000 a month for a regular vehicle. I remember when brand new cars used to cost $20,000 to bring right off the lot. Now, those same cars are upwards of $35,000 to $40,000. It is ridiculous how new car prices have doubled over time. And now I'm seeing cars with less and less mileage that is getting a lot cheaper in certain dealerships like Honda, for example. And so as cars are getting cheaper, that just means the vehicle that you currently own is depreciating in value. It is lowering in value. It is not building wealth for you. Therefore, it is a liability times two, because not only are you paying into it, but it's also losing value over time. All right. So now we have addressed the fact that you need to have an emergency fund and that you need more assets than liabilities. What is another form of an asset that you can have? Well, an asset can be something like your 401k, your Roth IRA, or just your independent stock market investing. You can also invest in a business that is generating income, maybe a clothing line, a shoe branding line, or a hair business, nail business, music business, YouTube business, Rumble business, whatever the business is, as long as it is generating some form of passive income or active income, it is an asset. Now, the liabilities that are taking things out of your pocket, you need to stop focusing too much on them. For example, you do not need a brand new vehicle. Maybe you need a used vehicle that you can pay for in cash. If you save up the cash, you can focus more on your emergency fund, on your investments, on your assets, and less on your liabilities so that you can save up for the things that you want and not be stressed out about it. You have to delay gratification in order to achieve financial freedom and invest for your future. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As you know, I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Peace.